Hi everyone, and welcome to the Schuylkill Report. Remember, we do two reports every month, the Schuylkill Report and the Luzerne Report, giving you information what's happening in the counties, and a lot of great things are happening. We're here today at Jerry's
Classic Cars.
Jerry's Classic Cars. I love this place,
Yeah,
Jerry.
I know you do.
Jerry's the co-host of the show, Jerry Enders. Every time I come here, I just I look around and I'm amazed. I mean, it's just fantastic.
Well, and every time you come here, we've added something, and that's the message we want to get out there. I have so many people come back year after year, and they say, every time we come back, we see something we didn't see before. The last items we added here, Sam, which has really gotten a lot of attention, and they're hard to find, is the 1940s 445 movie posters that were donated by Steve Moyer family from Leesport. He donated 10 posters to us already framed. And that's really something with the drive-in theater here, the replica and all, and to get the movie posters. So every year there's a new theme or something new added, and a large Coca-Cola display.
I tell you, when I look at all of the individual things, I don't know how you were able to put this all together, and the creativity of bringing it back to the era. So it's, when you're like, we're here, it's this era, okay?
Right. Well, I grew up in that time period, the 50s, 60s, and as you know, I played in a band, so I wanted a bandstand. I went to the drive-in theater with 4 or 5 guys in the trunk of the car, so they didn't have to pay. And that was our years of growing up. So when I started the museum, as you know, I worked in Atlantic Gas Station, and that's why I designed the Atlantic Gas Station. And the late artist Dave Nadock passed away, and he did all the murals in here. He did a beautiful mural of the Atlantic Gas Station the way I remembered it from the 1964-65 when I worked there, Sam.
Oh, great. Well, we're here in the downtown Pottsville, one of my favorite cities. A lot of activities happened in May. I understand that you had the privilege of driving my good friend Rector Dick Yingling as the Grand Marshal for the Fireman's Parade. Tell me how that day went.
Well, it was fantastic. I tell you, you drive Dick Yingling in a classic car. It's a thrill. I mean, it was an hour's drive through the city, and I never met anybody. He's just down-to-earth, regular guy. He said hi to everybody. Everybody said hi to him. And a little bit of a funny story on it, one of our friends, Jimmy Humphrey, ran a couple of cans of beer out flight and gave them to Dick and I. We put them on the dash. We get down the street about 3 blocks, and Dick sees one of his friends. He said, "What are you drinking?" He said, "Well, I'm not. I ran out." Dick said, "Oh, here, we have some." So he was giving beer. But his rapport with the people is you just can't even explain how great. And all the firemen took pictures with him, and nothing was too much trouble for him.
Yeah.
Up at the staging area with the young girls, the queens from different things, the firemen, he made time for everybody.
Right. Always does.
Always does, Sam.
Tell me about the day. I mean, that was because I know the mayor will talk about it as well.
Well, the day was fantastic. They had 135, 145 fire apparatus and all, very well planned. I have to say what I did, I was in the very beginning because, of course, Dick Yingling was the Grand Marshal. So I used the very famous 66 Dodge Coronet that you have driven in or rode in for many years in the cruise, the red convertible.
Oh, yes.
Used in Miss America parades, used it in the Miss America parades, and somebody said to Dick, this car was used for Miss America to drive the Queen of Miss America, so are you the king? Here. And I guess he said yes.
They were fun days when we did the
Pottsville cruise.
The cruise was fabulous.
And that's going to air, Sam. Now people, when they see the show, it'll be too late. But you can Google that on My Classic Car with Dennis Gage. And he's airing it again this Saturday, I was told, on one of the speed channels.
Wow.
So the cruise was so famous, and you were a major part, and Sam, young Sam here, now the president of your company, he sat in the back of that car with that camera for all those rides through town. It was something to be seen. We raised, you and I and everybody involved raised a lot of money for charity.
And I remember we were at some places when Senator Rose was here. We were giving money to the different. You bought a vehicle, I think, for one of the organizations.
2 vehicles for the library.
Yeah, for the library. You know.
Yes, sir.
And that was the thing that I really appreciated. Speaking of that, well, you know, we're talking about lasting legacy. Tom Palomar sent me an invitation here to the event that they're having. Let's talk about what's happening here with Lasting Legacy. I can't believe you said it's 20th anniversary.
Yeah, because Lasting Legacy actually was formed by Joe Jones and a lot of good people there. Joe Schlitzer, your buddy.
Oh, yes.
And we were all on the committee. I was on the committee. And because of Mr. Jones and Joe Schlitzer and many other people involved, we raised about $2.5 million. And the idea of Lasting Legacy was to raise that money for the bicentennial. Now, we're having the 20-year anniversary, but that's of Lasting Legacy. The actual bicentennial was 2006. But we started 2 years early to raise the money. And all that money went to building Yingling Park, Jolwyn Park, and was put into investments, endowments. So that money throughout time would preserve these projects that we started and pay to upkeep them, Sam.
And it benefits everyone in the area.
Benefits the whole city. Anybody can use those parks. Now, I didn't do that on purpose, Sam. That's the old 1950s phone ringing.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's calling us, but
Yeah. And the event is June the 28th. Now,
Yes.
if anyone would like to participate, because it looks like it'll be a great evening, okay? What should they do? Because you're on the committee here.
well, they can call City Hall at 622-1234 and get a hold of Tom Palomar, Becky's office, and they can purchase tickets.
Yes, I think it's a great idea. Now, you have some papers here I think are really interesting, okay? We're talking about the Schuylkill report, and you know, you look at how big that paper is, huh?
Sam,
Remember the,
now, and also we have to mention, Sam, our sponsor, the Republican Herald. I mean, your media sponsor here, co-sponsor. But this is back when you got a lot for your money, 10 cents for a newspaper. But what's really nice, this was donated by the Republican, by a few people there. Mike Joyce donated these to the museum. Check out some of the old car ads here. Yeah. You got Allied Banks. They're even showing pictures back 1907 when they carried the furniture in buggies. Haven Motors down in Schuylkill Haven, that building's still there. Some of the old phones in here, which you can see here in the museum. Yeah. And Costin Baker, that was one out on West Market Street. Pottsville had a lot of car dealers, Sam. Here's another picture with a gas station here in Pottsville. And then Claude Stoyer Pontiac, they were out on West Market Street. And these papers are from 1959, but the ads in them are actually go back further here. Here's Pope Motors.
Oh, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
Wow.
So these papers, so what we're showing here, Sam, here's Morrison Motors in Origsburg, Mady's Car Wash, Ray Grapsey here. And he was a Studebaker dealer. And then when he took over the Studebaker, that's when Studebaker closed here. Mm-hmm. This was the original Studebaker garage and sales. Then the Studebaker dealership closed here, and then it moved out to Ray Grapsey for a couple of years until Studebaker went out of business.
This is amazing, you know.
So these are the kind of artifacts in here that people can look at. And what we're doing different this year here at the museum, we have all these tables here in the drive-in theater. I'm going to have magazines and papers like this out. And I do have signs around, handle with care. So when people are touring, they can take time and look at some of this history, Sam.
Yeah, it's amazing how some people, I'm encouraging you, you know, you have anything important that you know about Schuylkill County, please, we'd like to know about them. I know a lot of people say, why don't we do this, why don't we do that, in terms of history, you know. Right. So history is so much, so a lot of people do not appreciate some of the things that have happened, right, you know, in their own areas, right, in the county. In terms of looking at Schuylkill County, you were born and raised in this area,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay.
Schuylkill Haven, yeah.
Schuylkill Haven. Looking at all of the events, so we have Diane coming on from the Schuylkill Historical Society to talk about. I mean, that place is fantastic. I mean,
Oh,
every place here is just like
I
unbelievable.
will say, since Diane, they had a lot of directors at the Historic Society, and it just floundered.
Yeah.
And I don't mind saying it. And Diane came along, and her team and her people, and that place has just grown and become more attractive. More people go there. They make it user friendly. There's so much history. I get a little jealous sometimes. I go in there, they got a few things in there I have, and it's, Diane, what are you doing, copying me?
Will you have something there?
Yeah, you were talking about events going on.
Yeah.
This is our media partner, the Republican Herald. Once every month, they come out with a calendar of events, not just Pottsville, but all over. That's something people might want to pick up.
Yes.
And it tells all the different events. It had the firemen's parade in there and stuff. And I encourage people, because we talk about what's going on in the county, and here's a good way to get to it. Or our other sponsor, Explorer Schuylkill, you can go on explorerschuylkill.org, and we have all the events. I mean, if people give us their events, Sam, and their members, they're on there.
It's amazing how many people, you know, since we started the shows, some find them interesting, some find them, well, not so interesting. The point is, all depends where we're talking about.
Right.
But when they realize, like Explore Schuylkill, when they realize all of the things that can be done in Schuylkill County, you know,
Right.
it's amazing. How many people you get here coming here? You have a lot of people?
We get around 5,000. I just had, it fluctuates. Once school's out, we get a lot more from New Jersey, Maryland, you know, some different states. But we just had a group of people here from Bolivia.
Wow.
They moved to New York. They like cars, and they were here. I met them on Saturday, and their shirts, Bolivia.
Yeah.
Three guys didn't talk very good English.
How
but
did
I had
they
them-
how did they respond? I mean, how
Oh,
did
they loved
rea-
it. They downstairs at the famous car. Now you know the famous '69 Janet's Mustang.
Yeah.
They just smiled, and they were taking pictures of each other at each car, and
Oh, yeah.
they were leaning on them very, very gently, and they just nodding their head like they were big smiles.
You talk about memories. I did a show yesterday, and we were talking to some of the people, and you know they look back and see the one thing that we have are good memories that we could cherish. Folks, we're talking to Jerry Enders, who's my co-host here, the Schuylkill Report. You have any comments, any questions, or anything you'd like us to talk about, or you'd like to submit something, please, we welcome it. It's sam@ssptv.com. You can watch us on our YouTube channel. We have all of the information. Of course, this show is also seen on Service Electric Cablevision in the greater Hazleton area, Channel 13 and HT 513. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Schuylkill Report, my friends. I'm Sam Lassant. Incidentally, I want to thank you for making the Sam Lassant Show the #1 talk show in northeastern Pennsylvania. That's from the scientific poll, Susquehanna Polling and Research, coming up with those numbers. I really appreciate that very much. Now, we're here at Jerry's Classic Car Museum in downtown Pottsville doing the show. It's just... you got to come here. I mean, I can't even express what you will see, but I guarantee you when you come here, you're going to be very satisfied. Once again, ssptv.com. All of our shows are there. All of the local neighborhood shows that we produce, over 21. What's happening in your neighborhood. Now, joining us here at the Schuylkill Report along with Jerry Enders is Diana Prosymchak. Did I say that right?
Correct.
See? And she's the executive director of the Schuylkill Historic Society. Now, when you come here and you come to Jerry's, you got to go up to the Historical Society. It's a fun day. Jerry, not that you're in competition, but what you have and what they have is just a great blend, isn't it?
It's a good blend, Sam. And you know, you can never have too much tourism. You heard me talk about that with Explorer Schuylkill at our functions. And I always say tourism is a partnership. The used car business is competitive, but tourism is a partnership, and everybody partners and supports each other. So the more things there are to do, the more people will come. People aren't going to come to Pottsville to see one thing. They'll come to see Jerry's, the Schuylkill Historic Society, they'll come to Yingling. They want things to do. So a partnership is built on tourism, Sam.
So tell me about the museum, about the Historical Society.
Well, the Historical Society is a great place to stop in, especially if you want to go back in time. Just like Jerry's here, it takes you back in time. Jerry's takes you back into the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. We'll take you back even further. So it will take you back with the immigrants coming into our country. So you get a very large amount of culture when you come in to visit Schuylkill County, and you visit the three major stops, the Historical Society, Jerry's, and Yingling's. It's a great blend, and it's a great day out. So to see all three is great. When you're visiting the Historical Society, you're getting a little bit of everything that Schuylkill County history has to offer. We have a touch of this, how Schuylkill County participated in the Civil War. We have what it was like to grow up as a coal cracker. We have what it's like to see what anthracite coal was all about. What the railroad was like, what the canals were like. Also, what the Pottsville Maroons were like. So the Molly Maguires. So it's a whole different atmosphere at the other end of the street.
Right.
So you've got Jerry's on one end of Center Street and you've got the Historical Society on the other. So there's a great mixture here in Pottsville, and it's very interesting on both ends.
I was there. We did a show there, and how did you get all the artifacts, that are in that place? I mean, when you talk about the Civil War, you saw I think the knives, the guns, and some of the things that they had. And when you as you go through, where did you get all of that stuff?
Well, everything is donated and preserved. It's all stored in our archives, and we do have a variety. Not all of it is out for everybody to see. Some of it is preserved so that
Yeah, but you can see it, right?
you can actually ask to see some of the items.
What are some of those items?
Like some of our guns and things like that are not out to see, but if you request to see some items, you can. Some of the other items, a lot of clothing is not out because you don't want it to. We have we do have it on our second floor. It is packed away because some of it, if it hits too much light, it's not going to be preserved for the rest of time to come. Also, the amount of storage space we have and the amount of display space we have is very limited. A lot of the different artifacts we cannot expose too much light to. We have to preserve it with acid-free paper and things like that. So we do preserve a lot of items. People will come in and say, well, why are my parents' items not out for display? Well, a lot of it, again, it does have to be preserved. If you wanted to, give it that forever home, we do preserve them.
When people come into the museum, Diana, is there a favorite place that, I know everything is of interest, but is there like one area that really attracts a lot of attention?
Yes, there's two areas that attract a lot of attention. The Molly Maguires and the Pottsville Maroons.
Oh, okay.
So it does seem to be that everybody is interested in the story of the Molly Maguires. Nobody can figure if they're innocent or guilty.
Yeah.
So we let people figure it out on their own. But they enjoy seeing the pictures of the Molly Maguires, the handcuffs that held the Molly Maguires, the prison door that held the Molly Maguires, and tell the story. We do have a big poster on the wall that depicts the jail yard where the Molly Maguires were hanged. So they love that story. The other one is the Pottsville Maroons. And of course, we're coming up on the 100th anniversary of the Pottsville Maroons. So
That's what we want to talk more about.
yeah,
Get that
that's
information out.
that story is becoming very popular right now. So we just have redone our exhibit there, and so that one is becoming very, very popular. We're, like I said, we're coming up on the 100th anniversary for that one. So those two exhibits right now are very popular.
You have anything special coming with the Maroons? Is there anything?
But I was going to, you have some events coming up. Would you like to talk about
Yes,
some
on
of
the
the?
Pottsville
I think
Maroons.
they're.
Yeah, the Pottsville Maroons, we developed a committee, especially because we're coming up on the 100th anniversary, and we're doing so much with them right now. We did, like I said, just revamped our whole exhibit. So if anybody wants to come into the society and see it, the whole exhibit is now at the other end of the hall. It's all refinished. And on July 13th, we do have a special guest coming from the Eagles. I cannot give his name out, but it's somebody everybody will want to see. It's a retired quarterback. He will be signing autographs at the Historical Society. You can watch our Facebook page for it. It will be a big event. And the other thing we will be doing is we have a lot of programs going to be happening. We do have, we will be doing a Harley Davidson ride, which I think this one is awesome, that we will be delivering some, Dick Yingling is involved with this one. We'll be doing a Harley Davidson ride that's going to be delivering beer from Pottsville
Oh, good.
right
Now,
to the Arizona Cardinals.
where are you located at?
I am located at 305 North Center Street here in Pottsville. It is the big red school building.
Okay. And if anyone wants to set up a tour, what's a phone number they can call?
They can call 570-622-7540.
And your website?
You can go onto our website, schuylkillhistory.org.
Diana, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You bring a lot, and you do a great job up there. You really do.
All right, thank you.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Well, welcome back to the Schuylkill Report. My friends, you know, to produce shows like this, we need sponsors. And I want to thank some of the sponsors that are on the show. Jerry's Northeast Auto Sales, he's right here. And of course, our media sponsor, Republican Herald. If you're not getting the paper, subscribe. Just the Sunday coupons alone will make money for you. And of course, Explore Schuylkill, always a staunch supporter of local programming. Bob Weaver Chevrolet, always there helping the community. 12-Volt Dave, you all know about 12-Volt Dave, and Pottsville Eye, with my good friend Dr. Diem, Dr. Kislin, all the good doctors there. Simon Kramer, Lehigh Valley Hospital, Schuylkill, Attorney Christine Holman. These are just some of the many people that are supporting our shows. We appreciate that very much. Jerry, so we have some events coming up.
Major event for the summer for the city will be the Yingling Summer Concert, July 13th, with Lee Bryce.
Oh, yes.
Last time he was here, they had about 30,000 people. And, you know, that's something the Yingling Corporation and family put together at no cost. You know, you can buy shirts and mugs and beer, but they pay all the expenses to bring Lee Bryce in. We're expecting 25 to 30,000 people.
Wow.
And it's just a great event.
It's a fun day. It's a fun day.
It brings a lot of people to town. And even if they don't tour Historic Society or the museum, they get a lot of walking tour brochures, a lot of information. You always hope they come back.
Now, I have to tell you, my friends, we're here at the Jerry's
Classic
Car Museum. The celebration of the Beatles is coming up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have a beautiful display of all the Beatles here.
Right. This is the 60th anniversary of the Beatles landing here in the USA up at JFK Airport, where the crowd went crazy and the girls went crazy. And
well, that's what happens when I go into places.
I know. I see the crowds. I see how they yell and they
oh, no, not him, you know.
Yeah.
But
And,
it's something to look at, I'll tell you.
Right. So what I did, I've had the fortunate ability to, I guess, to say over the 28 years of the museum, to collect and have things donated. So I have a fantastic Beatle display. I have posters.
Everything.
We have the White Album. We have the first album, the second. So come on in.
Yeah.
Walk around.
I don't want to show you too much because
Right.
you have to come here, my friends.
You have to
Anyway,
see it.
thank you for joining us, the Schuylkill Report. My email, sam@ssptv.com. Tune us, go into our website. You'll see all of the shows we produce.
May I jump in
yes,
there? Sam, I have 1 minute. Our next guest will be at Explore Schuylkill, and that will be Lorenda Kutz, and we'll be meeting her, and it's about the Pioneer Tunnel, another tourist attraction.
See you next time.